up at the top?
Yes.
Okay. That one's a 30, 60, 90s. So let me make it bigger, actually. Probably see it better. There we go. If it's a 30, 60, 90, there's your 60. Here's your 30. So what is Y? Short leg, long leg, hypotenuse?
Short leg.
Short leg. What's X?
Hypotenuse.
Yeah. All right. So we're starting with the long leg. What should you find first? What's home base?
The short leg.
Yeah, there you go. So to get to the short leg for 30, 60, 90, your numbers are root 3 and 2. Root 3 is the one that is related to the long leg. So if 8 is the long leg and you're trying to get the short leg, should you multiply or divide?
Divide.
Yeah. So it'd be, let's write it over here, divided by root 3. How do you get the root 3 out of the denominator?
Multiply it by root 3.
Yeah. Okay, baby, just a second. Sorry, that top does not look like a root 3. That's what it is. So then in your numerator, what do you have?
You would have 8 root 3 over 3.
You got it. 8 root 3 over 3. And that, remember, is your, oh, what happened? That is your short leg. So that's Y.
Okay.
How do you get from the short leg to the hypotenuse so that you can find X?
Multiply it by 2.
Yeah, there you go. It's your other magic number. So this times 2, which is really 2 over 1. So what would the numerator be?
Numerator would be
Mom, dude.
16 radical 3.
You got it.
Mom, dude. Mom, dude.
That is George. And in the numerator, in the denominator?
3.
Yeah. So that, even though it looks weird, is X, your hypotenuse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope these, the more you do them, the more it makes sense using those little shortcuts. That's kind of why I gave you all this sheet, so you get lots of practice with all the different ways you can use those numbers. Do you feel okay with that one?
Yes.
Good. Are there others?
I have number 9. Actually, number 8 on the other sheet.
Okay. Let me flip to that. Uh-oh. Come on. There we go. On this page?
Yes.
Okay. Again, start with knowing what sides are what. Like, where's the short leg? Where's the long leg? Where's the hypotenuse? So which one is the short leg in this triangle?
Y.
Y. And the long leg?
X.
X. So that makes the 6 root 3. That's our hypotenuse. That'll keep you straight about which shortcut to use. Don't touch that, Chris. All right. So you know your hypotenuse. We want to get the short leg first, always, if you don't have it. So what's the magic number between those two, between short leg and hypotenuse?
It'll be root 3 and 2.
Those are the two magic numbers, yes. Root 3 and 2. Which one do you use with the hypotenuse value in order to get your short leg?
For the short leg would be root 3.
No.
Oh, so it would be 2.
Yeah, the hypotenuse, its friend, I don't know how you want to word it, the number it likes is 2. So anytime you're dealing with your hypotenuse, you're thinking about 2, either multiplying or dividing by 2.
Okay.
So if you're going from the hypotenuse to the short leg, should you multiply or divide by 2?
Divide.
Yeah, because you're getting smaller. So what would that be if you simplify it there?
It would be 3 root 3.
You got it. That is your y, your short leg. To get from, so we used the 2 that goes with the hypotenuse, which means the root 3 goes with the long leg. Oh, helps you get information about the long leg. So if you know the short leg and you want the long leg, what do you need to do?
Multiply it by root 3.
So if you multiply 3 root 3 times root 3, what do you get?
3 times 3, which would be 9.
You got it. Oh. So your long leg up here is 9. Sorry, this was... Questions about that?
No.
Is it more clear?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other ones?
Number 10 on the same page.
Okay. Let me scroll up a little bit. All right. These are 45, 45, 90. So they have a different magic number. What's the magic number with those kind of triangles?
Root 2.
You want to do the cheer, right? Okay, so root 2. So in the top triangle, this one, you don't know any of the sides, so you can't really work with anything yet. So you have to do something with the bottom triangle first because you have this 10 to work with. So this part right here touches the top triangle. So if we can find out that, that'll help us know some measurements for the top triangle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the 10 in the bottom, is that a hypotenuse or a leg?
Hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. How do you get from a hypotenuse to a leg?
You divide.
Yeah. So 10 divided by your magic number root 2. How do you get rid of that radical in the denominator?
Multiply the top and bottom by root 2.
Yes. So you get what?
10 root 2 over 2.
And you can simplify it. And it will become what?
5 root 2.
Yeah. But don't stop there. I think every year I have somebody stop there because they're like, oh, I did a lot of work. I'm done. But remember, that is this side we were finding. So now you need to find x. So from the top triangle, is x a leg or a hypotenuse?
A leg.
A leg. So we're trying to find a leg, and we just found out the hypotenuse of that top triangle. So if you know the hypotenuse, how do you find the leg?
Divide.
By?
Root 2.
Yeah. So what happens there when you divide that?
It would become 5 because it'll be multiplied by root 2 at the top and bottom.
Well, if you remember down here in the blue circle, we got 5 root 2. And then if, hang on, sorry, my little guy just fell. Just a second. Get your milk. Sorry, you did a face plant on the floor. Just a second. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. He was trying to get something on the counter and stood on something that had wheels and then hit his face on the floor. Sorry.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, especially when you're 2. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, so in the blue circle, we got that the leg of the bigger triangle that I kind of highlighted in blue was 5 root 2. It's okay. And then you said that to get from in the top triangle, that would be the hypotenuse. To get from the hypotenuse to the leg we're trying to find, you divide by root 2. So down here, if you have 5 root 2 divided by root 2, that gives you a square root 2 in the numerator and in the denominator, so they can just cancel out.
So wouldn't that you just be left with 5?
Yeah, that would make x equal 5. Bryson, I think you had said something that sounded like doing this again, but you don't have to do that again because they cancel out.
Okay.
You're right that you don't want to leave a radical in the denominator. But in that problem, they cancel out so that you can get x equals 5. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Even with the interruption in the middle, sorry.
It's fine.
All right, other questions?
No, that's all.
Please do
All for you, Bryson?
number 1 on the front of the first page.
Number 1 on the first page. Let's see. All right. What kind of triangle is that one?
Say a right triangle.
Yes. Is it a 45, 45, 90 or 30, 60, 90?
My least favorite, 30, 60, 90.
Oh, they're not that bad. All right, there's a 30. So this down here has to be your 60. This 10, what side of the triangle is that?
The base or the short leg.
Short leg. Oh. What is Y?
That's it.
Or V, sorry. What's V?
It's a long leg.
Long leg. And U is?
Hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. I was telling Bryson, make sure that you get that straight. Which side is which before you start, so that you'll know which little shortcut to use.
Okay.
For 30, 60, 90, what are your 2 magic numbers?
Root 3 and 2.
All right, so we're starting in number 1 with the short leg, which is good. That's where you want to start. To get from the short leg to the long leg, do you multiply or divide?
You multiply.
Multiply. And what's the magic number for the long leg?
Root 3.
Root 3. So 10 times root 3 makes the long leg how much?
10 root 3.
Yep. that's that side. All right, go back to the short leg. That's always your home base where you want to start. To get from short leg to hypotenuse, do you multiply or divide?
You're going to divide 10 root 3 by 2.
No,
Multiply by 2?
not 10 root 3. Always start with the short leg. Remember your short leg in your theorem, even in your book, they call it X. So that's like your starting point. So always go back to the short leg before you get another length.
So it would be,
Start with 10. And then what?
10 times 2.
Yep. So the hypotenuse is?
Equals 20.
Yeah. Is that more clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Others?
If Anna doesn't have any questions, then I have none.
Could you help me with number 5 on the front side?
On the front? Sure. All right. What kind of triangle is that?
30, 60, 90.
So your 30 would be here. And 6 root 3, what part of the triangle is that?
The hypotenuse.
Which side should you find first?
The shorter side.
The shorter side. And so in this triangle, that would be Y. How do you, what Bryson, not Bryson, Braden in the last one just said the magic numbers for 30, 60, 90. Do you remember what they are?
Root 3 and then divided by 2.
Root 3 and 2. Sometimes you multiply with them and sometimes you divide.
Which those are always your magic numbers for all of these equations, right?
For all 30, 60, 90s, yes.
Okay, what about 45, 45, 90s?
Do your cheer. Root 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so these two magic numbers go with 30, 60, 90. Root 2 goes with 45, 45, 90. So it depends on what kind of triangle you start with. All right. In 5, you have the hypotenuse and you're trying to get the short leg. So which of the magic numbers is related to the hypotenuse?
2.
And if you're going from the hypotenuse to the short leg, should you multiply or divide?
Divide.
Yes. So 6 root 3 divided by 2. What happens there?
3 root 3.
3 root 3. That's right. So that is Y, your short leg. And then, like I was saying, that's like your home base. That's where you always want to start. So from the short leg to your long leg, what do you need to do? In just a minute, okay?
Times it by root 3.
Times it with root 3, yes. So 3 root 3 times root 3. What do you get there?
3 root 6.
No, be careful. Remember when you multiply a square root times itself, that number underneath just comes out?
Oh, so would it still be 3 root 3?
No, it'd be, you got this 3 out front, so it's 3 times this 3 that came out.
Oh, so just 9?
Mom, find my pop.
You found the Pop-Tart? Okay. All right. Questions about number 5?
Thank you. That's good.
You feel better about it?
Yes.
Good. Other questions?
Number 12 on number Numbers 11 and 12 on the front page.
The same page that's on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. In 11, it's two of them stuck together, and they're both 30, 60, 90s. This one's similar to the one Bryson asked about a minute ago, where you only have one number to start with, this 8 down here. So you can't use the big triangle yet, this right side triangle, because you don't have any information. So you need this piece that's touching. If you can find that piece of the smaller triangle, you can use that to help you with the right side triangle. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
So even though there's not a variable there, sometimes you have to solve another piece along the way. So in the left, I'll just highlight the little triangle there.
Mm-hmm.
What part is 8?
The short leg.
Mm-hmm. And the piece that we need, this middle line, what part is that?
The long leg.
How do you go from short leg to long leg?
Multiply by root 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That looks not like a 3, but it's supposed to be a 3. Multiply by root 3. So what's 8 times root 3?
Root 8, root 3.
Mm-hmm. So now we know 8 root. Come on. This pen has a mind of its own. All right. 8 root.
That's pretty good, Miss Wynn.
Oh, boy. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this right here. 3. There we go.
Hey.
All right. 8 root 3 is this part.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. In the larger triangle on the right side, this triangle, changed color, it didn't do it. Okay. In this triangle, 8 root 3 is what part of that triangle?
The short leg.
Short leg. If we're trying to go from the short leg to where X is, what is X?
X is your hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. So from short leg to hypotenuse,
You gotta go 8 root 3 divided by 2.
if you're going from a short leg to the hypotenuse, are you getting bigger or smaller?
My bad, it's 8 times 2.
8 root 3 times 2. Yep. So how much is your hypotenuse?
16 root 3.
Yep. Is that more clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. You said 12 also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Kind of like the last one, you only have one number to start with. So you have to figure out a piece of this triangle that will help you know something about the one on the left. 9 root 6, what part of that green triangle is it?
That's the short leg.
Mm-hmm. And this piece that touches the other triangle, what part is that?
Hypotenuse.
How do you go from short leg to hypotenuse?
Multiply by 2.
Mm-hmm. So how much is the hypotenuse?
18 root 6.
Yes. Root 6. Okay. Now in the left side triangle, we're trying to find X. 18 root 6. What part of that purplish triangle is it?
Hypotenuse. I mean the 18 root 6 is long leg.
Long leg. It changes when we look at the other triangle.
Yeah.
So we know the long leg, and we're trying to find the hypotenuse. But you can't Okay, you can, but it's more confusing. Don't go straight there. Don't go straight there. Find the short leg first, and then get your hypotenuse. I know it seems like a roundabout way, but using the numbers that way is more helpful. So to get from long leg to your short leg, what do?
You divide by 3, root 3.
So 18 root 6 divided by root 3. We haven't had a ton like this, but when you are under a radical, those two numbers under the radical can reduce as well. Just like if it was a regular fraction, 6 over 3, you would reduce it.
So you make it 18 root 3 over 1. No.
Not 3, be careful. This would be a 1, and this would be a 2, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be 18 root 2 is the short leg down here. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we're still trying to find x. There's a roundabout way to do it. How do you go from the short leg to the hypotenuse?
You multiply by 2.
What's 18 root 2 times 2?
That's a good question. Let me find my calculator.
Calculator. Come on. What's 18 times 2?
I do not know off the top of my head. Well, okay, so I'll try to do it in my head. 8 times 2 is 16. So 36.
You got it. And then don't forget that little root 2 hanging out in the back. So 36 root 2. That one had a lot of steps. Do you have questions about some of those steps?
No, ma'am, I do not.
No?
If Anna doesn't have any more questions, then I was wondering about the back page. Like the very last page.
All right. Anna, you doing okay?
Oh.
You what? I'm sorry.
I'm good right now.
Okay. All right. Let me shrink it so I can switch the page. This one with the 2?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Both of those or just one of those? Braden, both of those or just one of them?
Oh, yes, ma'am, both of those. Sorry.
Okay. So number 11 there, it's kind of hard to see the number. Sorry. They're both have a 45-degree measure. So they're both 45,
90.
What's this magic number for that kind?
Root 2.
Yes. So we're either going to be multiplying or dividing by root 2. So the top triangle has a measurement on it. So that's where we start because we have a number to work with. If we can find this piece that the two triangles share, that'll help us know something about that bottom triangle. So in the top triangle, 10 root 2. Sorry, of course. He picks the loudest toy we have in the living room.
That's okay.
Is 10 root 2 a leg or the hypotenuse in that top triangle?
I say long leg.
It is a leg. When you have a 45, 45, 90, both legs are the same. So you don't have to specify short or long. It's okay. Just want you to realize that. You don't have to specify short or long.
Put like congruent marks on those two legs to make sure, so I know it's like a
yeah. Yep. And sometimes, like number 12, they put the two kinds of triangles together. So that's helpful too to know which is which. But number 11, they're both 45, 45, 90. So we got 10 root 2 as a leg, which means we're trying to find a hypotenuse. How do you go from a leg to the hypotenuse?
You multiply by root 2.
Yes. So what's 10 root 2 times root 2?
You bring out the 2, so you're going to have 10 times 2, which equals 20.
You got it. So this blue piece here in the middle is 20. So in the bottom triangle, is that a leg or is that the hypotenuse?
That's the hypotenuse.
Of the bottom triangle?
Yes, ma'am. The x is the hypotenuse.
Yes,
Sorry.
the x is the hypotenuse. You're right. Yeah, this is the hypotenuse. And so we know a leg is 20. To go from a leg to the hypotenuse, what do you do?
Multiply by 2.
2?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
So 20 times root 2
Root 2, yes.
equals 20 root 2.
Yes. Good gracious.
Goodness gracious.
Let's see. Root.
Number 12 looks pretty hard to me, so.
Just take it one triangle at a time, like all the others, and you're fine. You know a 6 is the only length that you know, so that's where you have to start. So that 6, what part of what kind of triangle is it?
It's a 45, 45, 90, so you can do 6. We're trying to find the hypotenuse of that triangle.
Correct.
So 6 times root 2 equals 6 root 2.
So that's here.
And that is your short leg of that triangle. So all you have to do is do 6 root 2 times hold on one sec. 6 root 2 times root 3.
Are you trying to find, in the bottom triangle, are you finding a long leg or a hypotenuse?
Hypotenuse. So you're going to divide it by 2.
No.
Multiply by 2.
Don't guess. I want you to understand why so that you'll get it right every time. If you're going from a short leg to a hypotenuse, are you getting bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Bigger. If you're getting bigger, you're multiplying something to make it larger, right?
Oh, so like if I was going short leg to long leg, you do root 3.
Mm-hmm.
If you do short leg to hypotenuse, it's times 2.
You got it.
Okay, sweet. So can we bring the 2 out in this instance or no? No.
Because this one's not under a radical.
Yeah, it's just 12 root 2.
Yep. See, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah. Awesome.
Others?
Could you help me with number 4 on the front page?
Sure. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so what kind of triangle is it?
30, 60, 90.
Mm-hmm. And you have that 10 root 3. What part of the triangle is that? Short, long, or hypotenuse?
Long leg.
So from the long leg, the piece that you want to find first is what?
The short leg.
Yes. And it's getting smaller. So are you going to multiply or divide?
Divide.
Yes. And from the the long leg, what's your magic number that has to do with the long leg?
Root 3.
Yeah. So it's 10 root 3 divided by root 3. And what happens there?
They cancel out, so just be 10.
Got it. So the
Oh.
short leg is 10. You see it?
Yes, I just
The
was
short
confused.
leg is 10.
So
Uh-huh. You split. I'm sorry, Anna. I missed what you said.
I was just confused, like when to cancel out and when to not. So that makes
Gotcha.
sense.
If you have the same thing, like when you set up your problem, if you already have the same thing on top and bottom, you can cancel it out.
Okay.
The time when you have to use, I'll write it down here, like root 3 over root 3, is if when you set up your problem, let's say that when I set it up, it was 8 over root 3 because I needed to divide 8 by root 3.
Oh, okay.
That's when you have to use this because you don't have anything to cancel this out with.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
And
And
then
then
you
go
would
ahead.
just 20, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. What were you saying, Braden?
Oh, I was just saying, sorry. I was just saying that the 10 is going to be the short leg.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he did it again. Just a second. Where's your bowl? Get your bowl. Okay. Other questions? Maybe there's your bowl down there. On the floor. Right there.
For number 8 on the front page, since you start with the long leg, but there's no root 3.
Okay. Let's look at it. Let me shrink it down. Sorry. Oh, that must be the one I had in mind when I was talking about the 8 thing. I already wrote it out. Would you like me to erase and start from scratch or just talk through what's already written there?
You can just talk through it.
Okay. So in number 8, you're right. You're starting with the long leg here. And so find the short leg first. So from the long leg to the short leg, root 3 is your magic number. And you're getting smaller. So you're going to divide by root 3. That's where we set it up right here.
Okay.
Because there's not a root 3 to cancel out with, you have to multiply by root 3 over root 3. So that gives you 3 in the denominator and 8 root 3 in the numerator.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's y. That's the short leg.
The 8 root 3 over 3 is just the final answer.
Correct.
Okay.
And then to get your hypotenuse, your magic number is 2. So you take the short leg, 8 root 3 over 3, and multiply by 2. We did 2 over 1, just to remember what happens in the denominator. And so if you do that, you get 16 root 3 over 3.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
I think that's it for me, Miss Wynn. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anna or Christian, do y'all have questions? I think y'all are both still there, maybe. Nope, Anna left. Christian left also.
Okay, Miss Wynn, I'm back. I have another question. Sorry.
You're good. What's your question?
Number 6 on the front page.
Okay, let me get it back on the screen. Give me just a second. You said 6 on the front.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. What's the question?
So I got to trying to divide the hypotenuse, which is 4 root 2, and I divided that by root 3.
No.
No. Okay. Could you walk me through this one?
Sure. Okay, you said it's the hypotenuse, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the magic number that's related to the hypotenuse?
2.
2.
So by 2.
Yes. Either if you're doing anything about the hypotenuse, you always multiply or divide by 2 in a 30, 60, 90.
Okay.
So if you divide by 2, what does that give you?
That's gonna be 2 root 2.
Mm-hmm. As X or Y?
As X. Right?
Is it?
I think so.
What part of the triangle is X?
The long leg. So it should be Y actually.
Why?
Because that's the short leg and the long leg is almost the same length as the short leg. So when, it's like dividing it by 2, so it wouldn't really be dividing it by 2 and getting the long leg.
That's good logic. And we used 2 as our magic number. We divided by 2. And that's always the magic number between the short leg and the hypotenuse. Because remember, the short leg's like home base. That's what you use the magic numbers to get or to change.
Yeah.
So then for the long leg, use the short leg. And what are you going to do to it to get the long leg?
You're going to do 2 root 2 times root 3.
Yes.
Which is going to be weird because, you can't bring any of them out. So I'm confused.
They stay home. So what do you do?
2 root 3 times 2. Yep.
Which would give you? Which would give you what?
2 root 5.
Multiply.
Wait. I did 2 root 5 first.
Multiply these instead of adding them.
Oh, my bad. 6.
Mm-hmm. It looks weird, but it's right.
Okay.
So the hypotenuse is a 2. The long leg is a root 3. And you're always going back and forth with the short leg, either multiplying or dividing with the short leg.
Okay. Alrighty. Thank you.
You're welcome.